All right, here's a quick review of our printmaking project. I've already shown you these things, but this is just a reminder. You started with a drawing that's about the same size as the Lino-block you're going to use. You want it to be interesting, but not too intricate because it's going to be hard to carve. Make sure that your name and your table code are written on the edge of the Lino-block. That way you don't accidentally carve it off. Because trust me, that happens sometimes. Okay, once you've got your drawing, you're going to flip it over and you're going to color it with graphite on the back, okay? Fill up the whole paper with the graphite. Now, the tape doesn't stick to the Lino-block, but I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to wrap it around there. You saw that the graphite covered the whole background, right? Okay. Once you've done that, I use a different color pencil to trace over. That way you make sure you don't miss any lines. Once you've done that, your image is going to be fuzzy. So take a permanent marker and go over it again. It'll make carving a lot easier when you have these really sharp defined lines. Okay? Almost there. Now, when you are carving, you have to make a decision. Are you going to carve away everything except the lines, or are you going to carve the lines? So you can see the difference when I do this crayon rubbing of, the tiger, I carved away everything but the lines, and the elephant, I carved the lines. So if you carve the lines, they're going to be white. If you carve everything else, they're going to be colored. There are 5 different carving tools, numbered 1 to 5, and they each have a different shape. And the higher the number, the larger the mark is, or the gouge that you get when you carve with it, okay? You always carve with a bench hook. Make sure it's hooked to the table so it doesn't slide anywhere, and that your opposite hand is always behind the blade. Your index finger sits on top of the carving tool. And what I like to do is sort of carve around my first shape so I don't accidentally, cut the dog's nose off when I'm trying to carve the background out. Okay? Remember, always turn the block. You never, ever, ever carve toward yourself. I get pretty cranky when you do, so don't do it. All right. Once you've done that, I'm going to carve around the frame, and then I just start carving away everything that I want to stay white, okay? So I'm going to carve away the background. I'm going to carve away the inside of my dog. I'm going to leave the floor there so it looks like he's sitting on the floor, and then I will carve out the shape of the bone and the dog bowl. Now, when you finish carving, it's a good idea to do one of those crayon rubbings again to just get a good idea of what your print might look like. Oh, so now see, I can see that I forgot to carve his eyes out. He kind of looks like he's wearing sunglasses. That's not the look I'm going for. So now I can go back in and I can carve away the whites of his eyes. I think the other thing I'll do is put a little, I'll carve a little notch out of the black pupils, because then it'll look a little more realistic. There'll be like a little reflection in there. Okay, almost finished with that. See how I keep turning the block? I don't want to be carving towards my hand. All right, almost there. Just clean out the little bits, put a little reflection in the eyes there. It just helps make them look a little more alive. All right, now it's time to double check our print. That is so much better. Okay, it's time to get out we're gonna do the background first. So I found these really cool tempera paint sticks, and we're just going to color some crazy backgrounds. You could, I have another sample that I did where I colored flowers in the background, but in this case I'm just going to do some random shapes and colors. And these are tempera sticks, and they're really great because they dry almost instantaneously. You get these really bright colors, and they look great with our prints. So now I'm using a bench hook again. I'm taking some printing ink, and I'm putting that on the bench hook, and I'm taking a brayer, that's what we call the rollers, and I'm rolling that ink out nice and thin, and so it covers the whole brayer. Now I simply roll that over top of my Lino-block, making sure I get all the edges. Now there's no guarantees with printmaking. You never quite know what you're going to get, so that's why we usually make multiple prints. So I'm going to start with this. I take a clean brayer this time, and I roll it over and I pull my print, and there we go. So it's a little light on top. Not to worry, I can go back in with some more ink and just ink it up again and try again. So we are going to actually print. We can print on plain paper. We can print on the painted paper that we make. We're also going to print into clay, and I'll show you that on another day. All right, and let's see if this one turns out a little bit better. Almost there. Yes, I'm much happier with that one. Okay, go forth and be brilliant.